Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rancan Experience. I hope some of you have had time to enjoy a bit of the break in between. We've been looking around and experiencing a couple of news in the world with transfers and everything. But with transfers, we'll talk about that another time. We'll talk about it after the World Cup. Quite plainly, I'm just simply looking at what is to come this very evening, or this very afternoon, wherever you are in the world. So, if you are new to the channel, please may you like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what is your impression of this World Cup. I know it has been very frustrating to watch some of the teams do very well, and then there's other teams that just simply just didn't make the cut. So I've just realized something about this tournament, okay? Right now, at the time of recording, and this record is going to keep being shattered until Sunday. There has been a total amount of 292 goals in this FIFA World Cup. Let that sink in. 292. So that is a lot of goals scored in this tournament. So as we go forward and as we are looking at today's fixture, which is France versus Spain. Now this is my focus. So it's number 2 versus number 3. Okay. So I'm going to boldly say that yes. And you can see right over here, it's giving us an insight of saying Spain has created a record of 36 unbeaten matches in terms of their run. I am seriously looking at the fact that this team, this French team, has got to be one of the most deadliest teams we've ever seen in recent memory. Now, for those of you from previous generations, we used to have a French team with your Vieiras, your Emmanuel Patis, your Yuri Zhokayevs, Thierry Henry, David Trezeguet. That French team that first won the World Cup all about 28 years ago. Now, when we look at this French outfit, when we're looking at everything here, I am simply going to say that to watch this French team do something that's amazing is phenomenal. I mean, I know Mike Mignon has not been tested, and if you go and look at the statistics, it speaks a lot about this back four, the solid back four pairing of Kunde, Upamecano, Saliba, and Digne. This back four, these four guys, one, two, three, four. These four guys have managed to only concede 2 goals throughout this whole World Cup tournament. Now, the standing record, I think, for conceding the least amount of goals in the World Cup is with Italy in 2006, where they conceded a goal in the group stages and then they conceded a goal in the final. What we see here is that with the French national team, with Le Bleu, they have only conceded 2 goals. And both of those goals came in separate group stage games against Senegal and also against Norway. Now, it also speaks about the midfield engine, and as you can see, the squads have not been announced yet. These are just predicted lineups of what is going to be in front of us. I'd like to say, okay, we haven't seen a lot of Tchouameni playing, but Tchouameni is also a very good player. But I think it's time that we must speak about Rabiot. I won't lie, I was not a very big fan of his. I always thought that at some point he was mediocre, but now when you look at how he's playing and look at how consistent he is throughout this World Cup, he's playing his all, and he's one of those players who you just say to yourself that, man, he made one hell of a reprieve in his career, specifically for the French team. Then we've got this quartet right here up front that is very dangerous. We've got Dembele, the current Ballon d'Or winner, and also a person who's looking to announce themselves. Then we have King Nonchalant himself, which is Orleans. Then we have Desiree Due, who's the current Golden Boy holder, and he's looking to play against the previous Golden Boy holder. And we're looking to see, will he deliver the best of the best in terms of his ability? Because now, when we look at this quartet, including the dictator, Kylian Mbappe, I must say this is the most potent French team we have seen in years. I know everybody speaks about the French team of 2018, and when we look at this French national team, it is one of the most dedicated teams we've ever seen. I mean, imagine as a coach, you've had the privilege of going to 3 semifinals in a row. You've been coaching this team since 2014, in terms of the World Cup, of course. You've been coaching at 4 different tournaments. Of those 4 tournaments, the lowest you've ever been is quarterfinals, and it was your first one. It is highly impressive of Coach Didier Deschamps. Now, I'm impressed by Saliba. He is proving to be a very, very great defender, and also doing things that are very, very successful. Now, when I look at the Spanish national team, and I'll be blunt and say the Spanish national team is not one of the most convincing teams in recent years, but for them to claw their way back to somewhat some dominance within the past couple of years is very impressive of what we see and what this team is capable of. We've got Baena, who's been playing on that side. Then we've got Ruiz, who's proving to be one of those players who's doing very well. We all expected Rodri to be phenomenal, but I think, and remember, it's my opinion, feel free to disagree. Rodri has been above average, but nothing that screams I am impressive. Pedro Porro is proving his money's worth. Laporte is proving to be a brick at the back. Correa also, he's proving to be a very tough customer to deal with, specifically on that left-hand side. As for this gentleman over here, Lamine Yamal, honestly, he's not impressed me at this World Cup. Nothing screams to me that he is sublime. He is a force to be reckoned with. He's a player that just says, I'm here, I've announced myself. That honor belongs to this gentleman, Dani Olmo, because Dani Olmo has been doing what he's supposed to. As for Oyarzabal, yeah, he's flaky. He's giving very flaky performances as he hasn't been scoring in the past couple of matches and past 2 matches if we're being specific, and that honor has been the clutch man himself, Moreno. But as you can see, according to what's predicted here, he's not going to be on the starting. So we are looking at the team's forms, and both of these teams have been winning. They've been winning comprehensively, may we add. Except for the French, where they started with this 1-0 penalty win against Paraguay, which led to scandalous comments being spread. But when you look at the French have been free scoring and ongoing. As we look at the Spanish are only free scoring against oppositions that are less tactically sound than they are. So what can we expect in this game? Firstly, it's going to be a war of attrition. We're going to be seeing Saliba and Digne dealing with Lamine Yamal. We're going to be seeing a battle between Rabiot and Rodri. Dani Olmo is going to be suppressed by Upamecano and probably Tchouaméni, as there's going to be a lot of balls that run through the Spanish midfield in the middle. So Laporte has been solid, but now between him and Kubasi, I think he's going to be given the role of trying to deal with this quartet up front. And if it's not Desiree Doué, there's a chance it could be also Bakala. And in the time where if Mbappe is misfiring, there's also Jean-Philippe Mateta who could come on. The main metronome holder in this French team is going to be Olise, and he needs to be dealt with. So we're going to be looking at a very, very tough midfield battle. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to bring to attention. We need to deal with the fact that Mike Mignon can at times lose his way in terms of shots coming in his direction. So tonight he has to be on his sharpest. If he's not on his sharpest, there's going to be a very long evening for the French national team. Now, as you all know, this team, this outfit, well-run oil machine. Very brilliant, very disciplined, very focused. So now when it comes to the Spanish national team, I have one problem, and it's the goalkeeper. I don't know if some of you have seen it, and if not, I'd like you to go back and watch most of Spain's goals that have been conceded. If Spain is to stop the bleeding in terms of bleeding of goals, specifically when it comes to Unai Simon. Unai Simon needs to be a goalkeeper that's going to dive a lot. Specifically those ones that go at the bottom to the far post, because he is one of those goalkeepers that really, when he dives very late. And by the time he dives, it's curtains for him. He's going to be dealing with all guys here who have very great shooting and very great accuracy. And his biggest problem is going to be Mbappe in that box. So the back four here is going to have their work cut out. As for Ozayabal, they're going to have to make sure that they deal with him. So Ozayabal here, his biggest worry is going to be Upamecano. Now, this defense, as you read by statistic, it took 649 minutes to break their fortress and score a goal. Now, De La Fuente has not lost. You can see them. He has not lost. And this is a combination of World Cup and Euro games. As much as a lot of people in the world are seeing that these teams are their favorites, it is painfully obvious that someone has to be a winner. And someone has to go home empty-handed and play in the third place playoff for the bronze medal. And in earnest, when we're looking at this game, for the first time ever, I'm going to say it's a 1-1 draw. It's going to be a 1-1 draw. And whoever wins this game is going to pull something magical in extra time. And my assumption, I wouldn't say my hypothesis, I'd rather say my assumption. My assumption here is leading towards the French taking this in extra time. And yes, this is football. This tournament can surprise you. It can prove you wrong. Somebody is going home. These are two teams that have not been defeated in this World Cup tournament. They have been playing, they play a similar style, a similar formation. The only difference is, with the French on the ball, they attack with purpose. The Spanish, it's a reliance of making sure that it is to contain that position and use it on effective breaks, specifically on the wings. Now, since there's no Nico Williams and it's Baena. Baena has been doing his job. He's been doing what he's supposed to. But when we look at Spain, we have to be very wary of seeing, since everything that has been happening here, there's been less of Ferran Torres and there's been more of Marino. Now, Marino has been coming in and scoring a lot of clutch goals, 2 clutch goals as a substitute and in a space of playing less than 10 minutes. So one has to wonder, France needs to counteract it and make sure that there is some no-nonsense defending. But there needs to be ample amount of scoring so that they can prove to themselves that indeed they are one of the best teams in the world. So us as fans, when we sit here and we look at this, it screams massive numbers. It screams massive numbers over here. This quartet has been a force to be reckoned with, and it should be part of the team of the tournament. Now, whoever wins this game between these two very, very powerhouses is going to win the World Cup. I would say it would be on France, but one thing's for sure that both of these teams are going to score against each other. It's going to be a very entertaining game, unlike, well, this is more entertaining than what we're going to see tomorrow. Because tomorrow's game has got a lot of history and mostly bad history. But I'm going to touch on that game. So, to me, and you look at the paths, specifically when we look at the head-to-head. So this is roughly 3 hours from now. Spain has won more games than France. And this is a head-to-head in all competitions. But, if we take a closer look, France has beaten Spain in the World Cup. And this was a game in 2006. I believe this is where we were introduced to Vieira and also Zidane scoring the last minute winner. This tournament here, and we're looking at the head-to-head, it shows that the French pedigree is there. They're looking to prove themselves and to win this and also break this record. Now, they are going to play in Texas. Well, it's a closed dome, but I've seen that in this tournament playing in Texas is very difficult. And there's a lot of heat there. But in order to win this game, this war of attrition, if somebody doesn't get their affairs in order and if somebody doesn't have their bearings on, we are going to have an issue, a massive issue. Let's remind ourselves of their pathways. The French started off their round of 32 exploits by beating the Swedish 3-0, which was run by Graham Potter. Then it was their penalty win against Paraguay, which led to a lot of controversies, which I will not cover on this channel. We haven't got time for that. Then it led to the 2-0 masterclass domination of Morocco, which leads us to here today. Now, as we look at Spain, Spain went on a 3-0 win. Then they went to go and knock out Ronaldo and company with a 1-0 goal by Mikel Moreno. Then, as we saw last week, it was goals from Ruiz and also Moreno once again that led to cancelling out the Catalari's efforts along with Belgium. And it led to us having this fixture over here. So now, what is my verdict? My final verdict is we are going to be in for a long evening. We are talking about 420 minutes. It's going to be a battle of wills. It's going to be seen who is actually more prominently going to be the champion. So, everyone here on this channel, I'm just going to say that when we look at football, we know that we love the sport. We honor the sport, and by God, we respect the sport. Now, most of you here are going to say Spain, which I cannot disagree, because this is going to be one of the most memorable semi-finals that we've ever watched in a long, long time. So, please let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and talk to your guy. Tell me what you think. And by the way, take care. I'll give my input and feelings about tonight's match tomorrow when we are going to be discussing England against Argentina. Take care. See you tomorrow.